All right, we're back. Episode 14. I'm by myself. I'm doing the damn thing alone today. I kind of like doing these alone, honestly. I'm like kind of into it. There's something there's something cool about it. You know, there are times where I kind of hate the sound of my own voice, but I don't know. Like just talking to the unknown is kind of cool. But there's a lot been going on. We bombed Iran. That was fun to read about. It seems to be the only thing anyone wants to talk about. So, part of me really doesn't want to talk about it, and the other part of me is like, well, I mean, it is happening, and I don't know. It's one of those things where I kind of like, you know what? Hey, U.S. had to show its balls, which I'm like, you know, I'm patriotic as fuck, and then there's a part of me that's like, oh, what's gonna happen next? You know, everyone's talking about World War III, and for a second there, I got a little nervous. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then I realized, what the fuck am I getting nervous about? People have been saying that World War III is gonna happen for the last 70 years. Kids would hide under their desk during the Cold War and do practicing for nuclear bombs in schools. So like when my dad was in school, they were worrying about nuclear war. This is like nothing is new. You know, maybe I'm just older and I'm like, okay, I'm just able to listen to it a little better because I have, my brain is slightly more mature. But I don't know, man. I'm like, everyone's like, we're now at war. We've been at war. We've been funding 2 of them. And it's funny because the fucking liberals are like, oh, no, we can't fund Israel, but we can fund Ukraine. And it's like, we're still funding a war. Like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. It's like, oh, because you think that this is the good guys. Let's be real. The government's the government, and I love America. And I'll always stand by, at least as long as I think they're doing the right thing, which for the most part I do. I do think that there's obviously some shifty shit always happening, and I don't trust the government, but it's the best one that I know of. So I'm kind of just, all right, well then it is what it is. The United States has kind of been like slightly a little bit pussy, like for the last couple of years, for a while. And it's like we are, there was a part of me that was like, this is nice to know that, like, all right, we shouldn't be fucked with. And I think that's a safe feeling. I mean, it kind of can open a can of worms of like who can come here. But I don't know, man. Like the people that are so against it are the same people that are like, we need to keep funding Ukraine. And I'm like, that is so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical. And I think that it's like we pick and choose when we want to, when violence is okay. Because there are people in Russia, there are, the young men who are dying. And it's okay for them to die, but not someone else. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem to make much sense to me. And, it boggles my mind, this whole thing. Now Trump's up for a Nobel Peace Prize, which is pretty crazy. Because if he ends up like stopping this shit, a lot of people are going to feel pretty fucking stupid. So I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm also a little tired of it. A lot of comedians are talking about it. And I'm like, when it's this big, it's very hard for me to just be like, start writing jokes about it because everyone's doing it and I just kind of get sick of it. It was like when Trump got elected. That's all comedians would talk about. It was just Trump forever. And I was like, please, all right, like shut the fuck up. It's not funny anymore. It's like we got it. So yeah, man. I don't know. I just think getting personal on stage, like if you're going to go there, I think getting personal is the best thing you could do. It's the best thing you can do. And I think it's the most relatable. And it's funny because a lot of times I'll think this too, where I'll go, no one wants to hear that story. Nah, it's about me. It only pertains to me. Only my friends will think it's funny. But if it's a funny story and it's about you and you're able to get vulnerable, then I think that's what people will want. I think that it's not. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It doesn't even need to be like the most punchy joke with like these hot punchlines. It's you just see people going, oh, he's actually talking. Oh, I have a fucking crazy story too. Oh my God, I never wanted to talk about it. and you see the audience kind of shift forward in their chairs and they want to hear more. You know, a good joke is great, but getting personal, I think it's like, who the fuck are you? You know, who are you? And I think that's what people love to see, like the real you. That's why, like, they say finding your voice is important on stage, because people want to know who this guy is, you know? So yeah, and I once I started getting personal, it just, things started to feel easier, you know? It's like, yeah, I'll talk about it, whatever. I'll talk about this crazy shit. And if it makes me look like a fool, that's sometimes almost even better, because then it shows the audience that you're not a total prick, which a lot of times people think I am. But, you know, I mean, I do like to talk about, I think it's fun to talk about things that are happening in the news. I think it's more fun if it's like a, I don't want to say local news, but like I've been reading a lot about these teachers, a lot of female teachers. I don't know what's going on in the world, but these female teachers who are just constantly trying to fuck these teenagers. You see like a 26-year-old teacher that like sent like 30 nudes to like 6 different students, or like have been having full-on relationships with these kids. And I think it's funny in its own way. It's sick and twisted. Like, I did something seriously wrong, but like, it is kind of fucking funny. Like, you know, like, what happened? What happened to you? And I don't know. I think I've been thinking a lot about this. It's wild that we still have school shootings with the amount of teachers that are trying to fuck these kids. Like, if these teachers just fucked more incels, we could really handle this problem. I've been thinking about it, and I'm trying to get a joke out of it, and I think maybe that's it. But we could, like, we should be keeping these teachers in the circulation of the school system and just finding a way to get them in the classes with the nerdiest kids, the ones who you're most concerned about, who are most at risk of possibly going into their father's closet and bringing an AK-47 to school. Get those kids all in one class. Have this one teacher just fuck all of them, and then these kids will be fine. They'll be fine. They won't want to shoot anybody. Let's get them. Let's make a school strictly for incel kids, and just have all the teachers work there. You know, have one of them be a guidance counselor and like, look, you'll be fine. Just go down on me, and we got it. That's what I think about. That's. I'm not thinking about Iran that much. I'm thinking about how we can handle this internal terrorism problem that we have. I don't know, I'm feeling silly today, so I don't know. That's where my head goes. It's really something must have happened to me too, but yeah, I think that's the news is starting to fry everyone's brain, and I don't know. Young people are so concerned with politics. I get it. It's good to be informed, but I don't know. When I was in my early 20s and late teens, I just wanted to have fun. I still want to just have fun. I still want to have a great time. We're lucky enough to be born in this fucking country where you have the freedom to pretty much do whatever you want. And I get it. Like, you want the right people in charge, but I don't know, man. I think everyone's just got brain rot from fucking Instagram and TikTok and everyone's trying to save the world. It's like, we're gonna be dead soon, so you may as well just, like, you know, act accordingly. We're all heading to the same place. And maybe that's morbid, and to say like, oh, there's nothing we can really do with, like, you know, what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't know. Just kind of try to have fun. Don't take life so seriously. I used to take life very seriously when I was younger. I was a grumpy fucking asshole. And the last couple of years, I don't know, I let go. I just let go, and everyone's just wound up. And I think the more wound up you are, the less you're able to think properly, the less you're going to listen to your gut. Because I think human beings are still animals. You know, that animal instinct, we've almost completely lost it. And it's so important. Like, that feeling in your gut is always fucking right. It's there for a reason. It's your instinct kicking in, going, this isn't right here. And so many people, it's such a rusty muscle that no one ever listens to it. They go with the group. They don't want to be outcast by somebody because they're worried that, everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be so good now. Like, sometimes you got to look like a fucking asshole to stick to your guns. And if you're wrong, you know what you do? You admit you're wrong and you move on. And if you're around the right people, they'll go, okay, yeah, no problem. You were wrong. And you move forward. But this fucking victim mentality bullshit of like, I got to be good because it's the right thing to do. Well, sometimes people are fucking assholes. And the right thing to do is to stick to your guns. And if you don't trust that someone's being genuine, then you should call somebody out. Not like, humiliate someone, but I don't know. And I think with this fucking ChatGPT now, that's been my main, like my head has been wrapped around this ChatGPT thing so much. Because I've been reading these studies that MIT's been doing and just different articles about ChatGPT. There's one article about a guy about like I guess some scientists were like trying to have chat like this specific AI shut down, and it figured out a way to override that so it wouldn't quote unquote I guess die. It found out a way. Like this thing is probably already sentient. Like it has to be. And we're just too dumb to realize it. We think we can control everything, but it's I truly think going to be the demise of humans, and I think it's already in the process. Whether it takes over, ends up owning us in a certain way or another, I don't know. But I can tell you, based on what I'm reading, based on my gut, you could see there's studies saying that the neurological, like the brain power, is atrophying. Like they had people fill out do SAT essays with ChatGPT and others without it, and over time, the people that were using ChatGPT regularly, whether it was for essays or writing emails or whatever, we found that the critical thinking skill that we have was atrophying. And that to me was just so scary because I'm not the smartest guy. In fact, I don't think I'm that smart at all. I think I have a decent common sense. But like my critical thinking is the only thing that I believe is like the only power I have of me questioning, wait a second, or me going, I can use my brain for this. Let me think about this for a minute. Let me sit with this. And I think when you start taking that away and you allow something to do that, then you're taking away the thing that makes us most human. The thing that what makes us human, I think, is when you question something, when you go, is this good? Is this bad? What is this? We're able to sort of we're able to do that as a species. And I think having ChatGPT do everything, yes, it's a tool. Like if a hammer is a tool, you can use it to build a house or you can use it to kill someone. It depends on how you see it, or how you want to use that tool. And I think, yes, there should be ways to use it, but I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this. I think people are going to go that route every time. Like, let me have ChatGPT write the email. Let me have ChatGPT figure this out. And I don't think that is healthy. I know it saves time. I understand that. And I know that people, it's great. If you could save time with something, I think that's a really, that's beneficial. You're able to do other things. But let's be real. How many things, the average human being, if they're using ChatGPT to do something, they're going to use that extra time that they have to sit on their fucking phone and scroll anyway. I don't think that anyone's really using their time that fucking wisely. You know what I mean? So I see the benefits of it. I really do. But I like to be creative. I like to think. And I don't, especially for someone like myself, I love to write. And to have something else write for me, you could feel, and they were saying in some of the studies, they were reading some of these essays and they could feel that there was no soul in it. There was no heart. Sure, they used big vocabulary, but there was the human essence of it was missing. And as a human being, you can pick up on that when you read something. You can. You just know that a human wrote this or didn't. And that's the part that scares me because, is ChatGPT, yeah, can it make a cool, funny film? I guess. But, can it write a good story? I guess so. But is it going to write a great novel like a Jack Kerouac novel or a Charles Bukowski where you could feel the human experience? No, I don't think so. Is it gonna make, great art? And in that movie I, Robot with Will Smith, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. You watch it and like Will Smith asks the robot, he's like, can a robot make a beautiful piece of art? And the robot asks, can you? And not all humans can. And then you see the robot paint this incredible picture, but it's just not the same. And it freaks me out a little bit because I love art. I love creative things. I love reading. I love movies. I love fucking comedy. I love all this stuff. And the thing is that most of the world loves money. And that's the route we're going to go every time. And it's like, I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot here. I don't know. I kind of like, I was having a conversation with someone about this, and I was like, like when Facebook first came out, a lot of our parents were like, oh, what's this? Like, there were people who wanted to learn about it and get on there, and there were people who were like, fuck it. And they became outdated, not learning how to be on Facebook or social media. And it's like right now, I feel like my generation, our generation, if there are millennials listening, people in their 30s, you ask yourself that question and you go, well, am I going to be the outdated thing when in 10 years if I don't learn how to use this? And that's a rational fear to have, I think. You don't want to become obsolete. But at the same time, my gut is going like, I think I'd rather because I think I'd be a well-rounded person in 10 years than the people who are using it. And I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, and I could just end up looking like a fucking idiot who didn't grow with the times or change with the times. But I don't know. My gut's telling me go that way and stay the fuck away from this thing. And I don't use ChatGPT. I've used it to make some posters sometimes for visual effects because I really don't know how to do that. And I don't have the money to pay somebody right now, for comedy posters. But I don't use it otherwise. I've maybe used it a handful of times. I never use it. I don't ask it questions. I don't talk to it. And I had a friend, a fucking wild thing he said to me. He goes, I use this thing. He goes, I kind of use ChatGPT as a therapist. And I was like, what? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, yeah, I kind of ask it questions and he makes me feel better. I say, well, he makes you feel better. I was like, what's happening right now? It's not a he, it's not a she, it's an it. It's a thing. And I was so flabbergasted by the fact that it was like we're personalizing this thing. We're making it human. And it very well may be not human, but it may be another life already that we don't even know is I mean, it is learning everything. We're giving it, we're feeding it everything. And now it's already too late to put the fucking genie back in the bottle. It's out. Like, there's no way we can go back now. And it's just a matter of just moving with it. But it blew me away to hear that it was like to be used as a therapist because it's not a human. It can't relate. Yeah, sure, it can give you some sort of logical reasoning, I guess, maybe. Also, just take everything I say with a grain of salt because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is just my opinion. But how can you let it therapize you? You can't let it analyze you. It's not a person. The whole point is a person to person. Like, you get advice from something that's not living, then how good is that advice? It's like taking advice from, I don't know, fucking a street pole. I was going to say a tree, but trees are living, so. I mean, I've had acid trips where I've hugged trees, and I've probably learned more from that tree than I've learned from anybody. It's crazy when you're tripping on acid and you put your hand on a tree, like in the peak of a trip. You can feel the life running through this thing. It's the most mind-boggling thing I've ever experienced because it's been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And you like, I know I sound like a hippie, but you can feel everything. You can feel the connection it has with the other trees underground, and if you've done it, you can understand what I'm saying. If you've never done acid or you've never taken a psychedelic, then you're going to think I'm just a fucking idiot. But when you hold a tree, like you feel it and feel the bark, like really let it touch you. it's mind-boggling. And my whole experience with like plant life changed after that. Like whenever I'm around trees now, there's this different, and I know I keep saying it, I sound crazy, I can hear myself, but it changed my entire perspective on forests, on you feel less alone in a forest, and they're kind of creepy sometimes, but these they're fucking beautiful. They're so beautiful, these trees and plants. And I mean, if you don't appreciate, I mean, without them we're dead. That's the crazy part. Like we're goners. And I would just love to know, like, because they're probably so smart. They're so fucking smart. They're able to, they have a different form of communication than we'll never understand it. And they're going to be here. They were here before us, and they're going to be here long after we are. Like those beautiful trees in, what are they, redwoods in Northern California? These amazing fucking things that have been there forever. It's so cool. It's so cool. And I know most people who are listening to this, if anyone's listening to this, is thinking to themselves, wow, this guy he talks about, in the same 25 minutes, he was talking about teachers fucking incels, and now he's talking about how beautiful trees are. Like, clearly I'm off the reservation, but I don't know. I feel as normal. My version of normal is also very different than, and I'm sure other people can relate to this. Normal was never normal to me. Like the mundane of life has always been the toughest thing for me to understand. Like the everyday repetitive movements. Like I do it because I understand that, like, as an adult I need to do certain things, but it drives me insane. I never wanted normal. I wanted insanity, and to me that was normal. The constant moving, and not literal moving like moving your home, but just movement and doing the thing that felt impossible. There was something, the allure of knowing that 9 out of 10 people will say, this is impossible. That's crazy. Those were the things that once I heard that, I go, I want to do that. I want to really do that. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's the hardest thing you can do? Yeah. Okay, let's fucking go. And I don't know. And the funny thing is, as a kid, I wasn't the hard-working kid. I was a fucking maniac. I ran. I was just out and about and doing all kinds of crazy shit, and I still loved it. But I finally, after my mid-20s, I was able to sort of go, okay, I got to put in, like, it takes discipline to do this. It takes discipline to live an insane, out of control life. I think so. Which makes no sense to most people. They go, oh, you're insane, you don't have any discipline. It's like, actually, no, I'm probably, and this is not to toot my horn, but I like to think I'm quite disciplined. If you want to live like an artist's or creative life, you need discipline. You need to work on this thing every single day. But also, you have to live your life. That's the funny thing about, like, living as an artist, and I don't like referring to myself as an artist because it's fucking douchey as hell, but a creative lifestyle is you have to have a procedural, like a thing that you do every day, this habitual thing of, okay, I got to write every day. I got to write. If you want to do writing or be a comic, you have to write every day or get on stage every single day. But the in-between moments, you have to live your life, because that's where the inspiration comes from, I think. Whether it's getting drunk with your friends or getting drunk on a Tuesday and you're supposed to work the next day and you really shouldn't, but you do it anyway. Or going on that date that you don't really want to go on, and it's or traveling more, spending the money you don't have to see new things. Like that is the juice for all of it, for the habitual habit that you have. Because if you don't, and you're just doing the things that, okay, I need to just do the work, you're missing something. You need to have the fun. You need to have the experience. And this is just for me. It may not be the same for other people. But I don't have there's no juice flowing if I'm not living my life in the way that I want to live it. Like, I go to work, I do my 9 to 5, and then I do my comedy at night, and then the in-between moments, I'll, have some, we'll go off of the trail for a minute and hit the back roads and see what happens. say yes to a lot of shit, try new things. And a lot of people I know, they hit a certain age. Sure, they had kids and they had different experiences than I did. But eventually, they stopped doing new things. Because responsibility kicks in, I understand. But I think when you stop doing new things, and especially if you're in a relationship, neither of you change. Or maybe one of you is doing it and one of you isn't. That means one of you is going to grow and the other is going to stay the same. And that's not good for a relationship. I think people get into relationships and they see this person as is, and they go, okay, this is the person I want. Not realizing that the procedure is that you both change and you grow together and you turn into different people and you love those different versions, right? But I think some people go, okay, this is it. This is the person. And they expect them to stay in that same position with them. And there's some people who want to change and then the other person has to stay the same, which is not fair. That's fucked up, because you can't allow that. You can't stunt that person's growth while you're changing, because that's just selfish. Then you're almost competing. And to compete with your lover is the worst thing you can do. You never want to be competitive with the person that you love. You want to root for them. You want to tell them, yes, go do that crazy thing. Go to that bar, go hang out with your friends, go whatever, because you want to see them blossom, and their growth inspires your growth. It's like two trees living together. The roots are connected underneath the ground, and they both shoot up. And I don't know how the fuck I got here, but I think that is it's important, the growth and the change within a relationship. You cannot expect this person that you have right now to be the same person tomorrow. What you can expect, though, or not expect, what you hope for, is that you both are changing in the right direction. And you may find out that you're not, and then that journey is still beautiful also. And then you go, all right, like, I guess this is not for us. You're not for me, and I'm not for you anymore. But as long as you're pushing yourself to try new things, and the other person is too, I think you got a really great partnership. And I see a lot of people just not wanting to. There we go, new shit, not wanting to do new things, and I just don't get it. I don't get. When I was younger, I didn't want to do new shit. I was stubborn. I wanted to just, I didn't want to mess with the MO that I had. And it was, as I got older, I got more and more outlandish with my gambles. I just wanted to gamble more and more. I was like, let's gamble this. Let's see what happens. Let's put everything on black. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that metaphorically. And yeah, I think trying new things is the thing that really helps you create things that you love. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine, actually, and he said to me, he's like, I'm putting together this 5-minute set. He goes, and like, it's a big deal. It's like, it's going to be for an audition for this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's dope. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, what do you think? Should I saw the 5 minutes, and he goes, do you think I should put this or take this out? He goes, I really love this joke, but I don't know if it'll be good for this. And my first thing to him was like, if you love it, then I think that's the one you got to do. If you're just trying to, please the audience, they're not going to, they don't know what they need. The best joke is going to be the one that you tell, that you love to tell. And they're going to, excuse me, love your enthusiasm for it. But I was at a party this weekend, actually, and saw childhood friends, speaking of, like, people who have just went a totally different direction than myself. And one of them said to me, they looked at me, and I was like, kind of like rubbing my eye, and he was like, yo, let me ask you, so what'd you take today? Meaning, like, what drugs I took. And I was like, I didn't, what, I'm like, how fucking dare you say that to me? And he looked at me, and I was like, all right, I took some mushrooms, which is kind of funny, because it's like, I'm that guy. And I think secretly I love being that guy. I didn't love how derogatory it sounded, because it made me sound like a total dirtbag. But it's fun being that guy. But I'm that guy with a responsibility. I think that's important too. If you're the friend in the group that is that guy but gets totally fucking nuts, then you got a problem. Then that's not cool or fun. But if you're that guy and you're like super cool and responsible with certain shit, then I think that's dope. That's a cool guy to be. It's a guy who That takes a lot of responsibility to be the guy who likes to, have fun and get fucked up, but does it really well. That's a guy who's not an addict, if you ask me. I think that's a guy who just likes what he likes. I think it's very rare that you find, people that just like what they like. And there's a lot of respect in that. And sometimes you just like hanging around, with your girlfriend. Sometimes you like doing drugs. Sometimes you like doing crazy shit. But doing it with responsibility and care and knowing that you're not going to hurt someone else and your best interest is always, at the forefront. That's a fucking dope-ass guy to be. So there's always danger and fun. But I don't know. To me, that's a cool fucker. Not saying I'm that cool, but, Wow, I had a lot to say. It was 30 minutes I did. All right, I think that's enough. I don't want to, bite off more than I can chew. But if you listen, if you stay to the end, you guys are fucking awesome. I love doing this, so I hope if anyone else loves it, that's like it, do whatever. Tell your friends. I don't know. But this is great. Until next time, guys. See you later.